Okay. Well, I gotta go back inside now. But I love this. Now. What's that voice line that Daredevil has in Marvel Rivals? It's time for me to make a compelling argument. Forgive me, I'm not even in proper attire. One sec. Well, alright then. Guess I'm back. Before I really dive into things, just want to let you know I have some words at the end of this video. But, to start, I've been trying to restrain myself from making this video for a while, but I've been rereading Daredevil comics, and I went on my yearly rewatch of Daredevil, the best superhero show in existence. And obviously, it goes without saying for people who have watched the Netflix show, Born Again was a little bit of a fall off. Not a huge drop in quality, still enjoyable, still things to be looked at and held to a high regard. But I have my 2 cents to put in. And breaking it down, I'm gonna start with Muse. Like, I get it, you know, Daredevil, we love him, he's the main character. We're gonna get to Matt Murdock. But I need to start with my main gripes with the show before I get to the positives. Muse, I love him in the comics a lot. And don't get me wrong, he is by no means a plot A type of villain or type of antagonist. That should have been Fisk, no doubt about it. But when it comes to Muse, what was his main shine in? Episode 5? That's not good. And I feel like, in a way, too, apart from episode 5, when he finally does get to do things, his presence in that show wasn't really felt as much as I think that it could have been. Especially in the comics, where the second Muse hit the scene, people were chaotic. And beyond that too, his personality shift from the comics to the show is completely black and white. Basically a different character. I mean, we have the Muse in the comics who's constantly talking, constantly antagonizing Daredevil, Blindspot, and anybody he's in a room with. A key scene that I'll use as an example is a scene where the women are like, "Hey, you're Muse, right? Can we get a picture?" And he's just like, "I'm gonna kill you." No. Like, accurate Muse in the comics, he took that picture and then he was like, "I'm gonna kill you." And it wasn't even like that exactly, because Muse in the comics is way more talkative. Comparison between the two would be that comic Muse, extrovert, TV show Muse, introvert. Unless I'm proven wrong, and the current theories about those weird recordings of Fisk about Muse being behind them, you know, we're only like less than a week out until season 2, so this whole video could be dated. But Muse in the comics, he was like, "Oh, why certainly, let's take a picture. You're pretty, you're pretty, you're pretty, you're pretty." You know, completely unhinged things like that. And even beyond that, I think it was a missed opportunity to not have Muse be super powered. Now, he's a competent fighter in the comics, but he also has enhanced strength and some uncanny speed and the ability to just put murals up on walls somehow, some way. I mean, we kind of see that in the show too. But beyond that too, I would have liked his artwork to be more body horror instead of just paintings. In the comics, he experiments by turning people's bodies into installations, and that's a really fun and incredibly morbid way to depict him uniquely, apart from just traditional slashers, in my opinion. I feel like that would have been way better instead of him just sprawling dead bodies across New York. I mean, sure, going back on my previous example, he did use those women to sort of enhance his Statue of Liberty mural, but that was kind of meh. And also, going back to that scene as a comic comparison, he didn't even get to kill those women because the police showed up And then, as a testament to Muse's ability to fight and essentially be superpowered to some extent, he kills those 4 or 5 cops right there and then leaves. He dips. With my process of him being completely different from traditional slashers, I get that they wanted to have it a bit more grounded in tone, but Muse in the comics was very bold. I mean, he kidnapped an entire courtroom full of people in broad daylight, and with his sensory abilities, him being able to just absorb all information from his surrounding area, that was a true hindrance of Daredevil's abilities that would have challenged him in a unique way that we hadn't seen before in live action. How there's a moment in the comics where Daredevil is struggling to find Muse because he has kidnapped several people along with his sidekick at the time, Blindspot. Or, no, maybe Blindspot was with him, that was before that. I'm misremembering, but the point that I'm making is that when it came to finding Muse, that isn't something that Matt was able to do in like 10 to 15 minutes. He was struggling. It physically strained him to try to locate Muse because he was just an absence of information in the city. And you know, I think that it's a true mistake to have killed Muse additionally. Given his status, again, not a plot type of villain, but still somebody that should have been the type of character that commands presence and immediate attention when on screen. I think about their first encounter in the well, not first encounter, but their first fight in which Daredevil won in the comics, which led to Muse's arrest. You know, that had just come after a slight loss on Daredevil's end, where, you know, Blindspot gets blinded, and, you know, a character that's not established in the show, so we can't hold them against that in that regard. But it would have been such an uncanny scene to see Muse just break his fingers and be like, is this the revenge you wanted? That would have been great to see in live action. Secondly with that, I hope he's not dead, but he's more than likely dead, unfortunately. When Muse dies in the comics, temporarily, because nobody stays dead in comics, it was on his own accord. I mean, he was fighting Blindspot, and then he was like, you think that you're the... No, it's about me. I'm the artist here. I'm doing this. This is my work. Mine. He walked into fire because he wanted to go out on his own accord. He didn't get shot by Heather Glenn, a character... That's spoilers if they go down that storyline, but if you want to know, search it up for yourself. Alright, but that's Muse. I feel like I'm really frustrated about how they went about that. I understand to a degree why they went down that specific route in the show. I can't completely enjoy it as much as I would like to. Now, moving on to the one that upsets me the most by far is Detective Cole North. Now, I hope that he comes back in season 2 and they're able to just completely 180 this character, but considering he would have to survive 2 explosions that look like this, I doubt it. I am in heavy doubt of that. Cole's direction and the decision that they made with his character upset me greatly from the jump. For starter, with the death of White Tiger, when that happened, I was like, please don't let that be Cole North. Don't let him be the one responsible for that. Because in the comics, Cole North, yeah, he was a brief antagonist to Daredevil and vigilantes in general, but the thing about that is, he wasn't somebody who was like, man, I hate it, I'm gonna do this my way. He was not a corrupt cop. I mean, I'll bring up the examples right now. He is somebody who constantly strived to uphold the law, and again, that's at the beginning of his character arc. He did not like dirty cops. He didn't like vigilantes working around the law to do their own thing. He was a by the law, by the books type of officer. He's not the type of guy who would shoot somebody in cold daylight, brutalize Daredevil on the hood of a police car, yes, in order to arrest him, but to kill somebody in cold blood like that, no, he wouldn't have done that. That's number one. Number two, Cole North, and I'm going to get to this in a minute, but at the beginning of his arc and at the end of his arc in the comics, comparing the comic versions, he would not wear a Punisher logo. He would not wear a Punisher logo for a second. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. My third point in this is that, again, he has a whole arc. Key point about Cole North's character, he's always cared about upholding the law. And then, with his increased encounters with Daredevil, conversations with Spider-Man, or just one conversation with Spider-Man, he realized, you know what? I don't care about upholding the law because that's not as important as keeping people safe and protecting people. He would not be on the vigilante or anti-vigilante task force to enforce law if it was in any way, shape, or form at the hindrance of innocent people. That's not Cole North's character at all. You can even see it in comparison to his interaction with Wilson Fisk in the comics versus the show is night and day. The second that he's in his first meeting with Wilson Fisk, knowing about this man's reputation, he says it makes his skin crawl. He's sick to his stomach. Compare that to his interaction with Wilson Fisk multiple times throughout the show. They're giving each... Kingpin is giving him shoulder pats saying, good job. Oh, Daredevil was never here, right? Yes, sir, he was never... Yes, sir! Even in the comics when he was mayor, he was very relentlessly, not relentlessly, what's the word I'm looking for? Hesitantly calling him sir, or any type of Mr. Mayor type of things like that. And again, when it came to dirty cops, he hated dirty cops. He was in his precinct, standing in the middle of the room saying, hey, people are going to get hurt tonight. And I understand some of you are on payroll, some of you are dirty, but some of you are like me. You care about protecting people. And if you care about protecting people, you're going to get your badge, you're going to get your gun, and we're going to go on those streets and help. That was Cole North. I don't know who this man is. Again, they may 180 this man in season 2, assuming he's even alive. But I still stand very disappointed with how they've handled his direction as a character. Because in realization, the only way that he was an antagonist to Matt before they became allies is completely opposing sides of the law, but still with the goal to help people. And when Daredevil and him began to mix more and more, they understood each other, and through that, Cole was able to understand, hey, sometimes you just have to work around the law to protect innocent people, because that's what he cares about at the end of the day. He's not whoever this guy is. Alright, now moving on forward with that, we gotta talk about my man himself, Matt Murdock. I love Matt Murdock. You love Matt Murdock. We all love Matt Murdock. But I actually have to be a contrarian for a second. A lot of people, or maybe it's a loud minority, but a lot of people have said that they don't like how long it takes Matt to become Daredevil again. But I disagree. I disagree completely. I think that it makes complete sense for this man in his arc to want to put down the mantle for as long as possible, if not permanently, after the events that took place in episode 1, with not only his best friend dying, but also him attempting to kill Bullseye. It makes complete sense. We're talking about somebody who, in comparison to other vigilantes, other heroes, his actions as a crime fighter aren't strictly, I want to do good. It was also an excuse and an addiction, because Matt just loves fighting people so much. And for that addiction to lead to the death of his best friend and the attempted murder for Daredevil, that's huge, the attempted murder of somebody, that's when Daredevil died, or at least attempted to be buried by Matt Murdock. And I completely understand why he would want to stay out of that mask and stay out of that world for as long as he did, and even throughout the show as long as possible. And I don't understand why people would be like, the action's cool, but I would have loved to see him in the suit sooner. You're missing the point. You're watching the show with your eyes closed. This man does not want to be Daredevil until he's forced to be Daredevil, which is still completely at a good pace, in my opinion, despite the rewrites and reshoots. Now, talking about the suit for a second, I really love the suit. I did have a flash of worry the same way that everybody else did when the set leaks got revealed, and I thought, ooh, that's maybe a little too bright of a red. But then I was like, you know what? What am I even talking about? They're going to do color grading, it's going to look fine. Sure enough, it looks really good. And now, going into season 2, we have the black suit finally with the D logo on it. Now, what I will say is, going from season 3, and again, fresh off of a rewatch for me up here, going from season 3, where he says to Melvin Potter, I've outgrown what the suit stood for. Okay, that makes sense. He's back in black. Even thematically, there's reasons and individual points of his character in that vigilante suit. From the head wraps being made from nun head wraps to still him obviously having a cross necklace on underneath all of that. And even the red undershirt towards the end of the season, where it's like Daredevil's being born again. Am I right? Please don't unsubscribe. It made complete sense, even with him using Muay Thai ropes and hand wraps, something that he hadn't used previously, as a point to show that he was like going into his boxer roots, but still maintaining some levels of martial arts mixed in there. And I loved it a lot. I think that an organic building point from that, though, would have been, and yes, I am going to be using my favorite Daredevil design of all time as an example of this, going from that point in season 3 to a Daredevil in pretty contemporary clothing, cargo pants, boots, hand wraps, and then having the batons at his sides. I've centered all of my Daredevil cosplays so far around that look. It's very possible, and I think that it can look good. In my humble opinion, I think that's just naturally where he should have headed. And I think that, considering the fact that the suit is getting more and more destroyed throughout each promo we're seeing, obviously it was black, and then it's starting to rub off with red being exposed, and it looks like in one shot that there's a whole part of the suit that was melded back together, that it's very possible that the suit is going to just end up getting more or less destroyed to the point where it's like, man, it'd be just easier to make something new rather than keep fixing this. And what would be better than that than this beauty right here? You know what I'm saying? Apart from that, those were the main points that I wanted to talk about when it came to Born Again. Other people have talked about their thoughts on like every individual episode and storyline that was melded in there. I think that I'm not going to waste time rehashing the same points that a lot of people have said time and time again. Matt, of course, still has a really good character arc, and he's still moving in a good direction, in my opinion. It's good to see Karen back. Bullseye looks like he's going to have a small redemption arc. I don't think that's going to last, but that's just my opinion again. It looks like we are going to be diving a little bit in one way or another into the Zdarsky run of Daredevil, with people donning their own Daredevil masks and taking the streets back. It's good to see Jessica Jones again. I hope Luke and Iron Fist are around the corner as well. We get the Defenders together. As I'm recording this, I've already seen the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, so Frank, he's gone. He's over in that corner of the universe now. And what a time to be a Marvel fan, really, and time to be a street level Marvel fan, actually. But yeah, that's it when it comes to just my thoughts on Daredevil. I feel like I've ran my mouth for like paragraphs upon paragraphs, but now I'm gonna get into, personal stuff, where I've been, all that, what can you expect to see next. I know that I've been gone for like, what, 2-3 months? I apologize for that. This is my final semester, and I'm in my final few months of school. I'm just trying to survive. That's the main objective. Survive. Gonna go ahead and say it for my buddy Joji. Joji's also surviving. So honestly, don't expect to see many uploads until summer, unfortunately. Which does suck. I thought that I would have a bit more time than I actually ended up having. So that rearranges my schedule a little bit. I don't like to make promises. I like to kind of just jump in and then let my videos speak for themselves. But because of the approximate time that I'm going to be graduating, I'm going to be jumping into, my plan is, I'm going to be jumping into the Lego Batman games, followed by the release, if I can do this, of Lego Batman The Dark Knight Legacy. And with that, around that time after, we'll just figure it out as we go. But yeah, sorry I've been so busy, but at least I can say that it wasn't just, hey, I've been sleeping. I've been sleeping a lot. I've been doing stuff. Unfortunately, it hasn't been channel related like I would like it to be, but I appreciate you hanging in with me there. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you slam your face in the subscribe button until it is red. Your face, not the subscribe button, that's supposed to turn gray. And make sure you also like and share the video, because that helps a lot too. And until next time, Redface out. Goodbye, guys.